Archie, is it about time somebody literally taught him a lesson? As ever, let me explain. Morning, good to see you today. Thank you so much for your time. Are you all right? I'm not so bad, thank you. If you are living in America, I'm sure you're exhausted by all that election fever that's been going on. Do you know, I have to tell you a funny thing that happened over here in the United Kingdom. We had our own sort of panels and stuff like that, you know, but the ubiquitous Prince Andrew interview, the Duke of York's nemesis, some people might say, Emily Maitlis finally got hoofed off screen for simply swearing on camera. So angry was she that things weren't going her own way. You know what I think? I think the Duke of York was right about Miss Maitlis. All along, it was always about her, and when she couldn't get her own way, consequently, of course, things took a turn for the worst. Yes, I'm not saying he's without blame, but it's just interesting how things pan out, isn't it, in the fullness of time, as, of course, our late and brilliant monarch pointed out. Let's get back to your royal story of the day. When you think about it, I don't know about you, we've barely seen, haven't we, Archie, Prince Archie, whatever you want to call him. And it's a strange thing, isn't it, when you think, because we've seen him on camera, for money, for Netflix, all that sort of stuff. And we heard him speaking, of course, to his father and to his mum, Meghan Markle. And this was all about, looking at bees or flies or something, I'm not quite sure. Kind of lost interest at that point, if I'm honest. But the thing is, we noted he had an American accent, and rightly so. He's never been to England, so why would he have an English accent? Even though his father, of course, is from the best English stock, some people might say. Now, here's where it gets interesting, you see, because Meghan Markle, when she first came into the ether over here in the United Kingdom, was desperate to find an English boyfriend. She likes all things traditional English. She definitely thinks that the class system is something for her, and in a different life she would have been in the higher class. As I've often said, if I look at myself, I see Ruby from upstairs downstairs, but there you go, more realistic term, if you like. Now, as you know, Archie's careering around with the years, it's hard to believe now, 5+, and of course the time that happens to all young boys when suddenly you're told you can't stay at home all day and play around, you have to go to school. People loathe it, people like it. It depends which side of the bread butter you enjoy, you know what I mean? Personally, for me, good and bad days, I think that's the fair. We always like that, yeah. You like certain bits. So who liked French? I quite enjoyed home economics, which was cooking, as we called it, because that's when you learn to make basic things and it steers you in life forever. Have I ever used French? No. There you go, you see. And this is now going to be the problem for the, shall we say, sometimes might say, budding royal in the future, Archie. Now, the reason being is, according to a well-placed source out in Montecito, both Harry and Meghan, predominantly though more Meghan, want this for her eldest child. You see, she's looking for ex-teachers, background of Oxford, Eton, Cambridge, that sort of stuff, to come and do home schooling. Now, again, fascinating when you think about it, because obviously the interaction of this young boy is going to be important, as we've seen with the likes of people like Prince George. It develops you, and very, very quickly you have to get out there in life and make your own way. But clearly they're taking this secrecy, this privacy to a whole new level. And according to that source, while Harry's not too bothered about whether this particular teacher is an English teacher or not, Meghan desperately wants that. She wants someone from a background with pedigree, the sort of thing that could teach the class system, impeccable manners, all sorts of manner of things. Now, I've seen this many, many times, as you can imagine, with celebrity children, predominantly maybe some people might say Madonna's eldest child, Lourdes. And, Lourdes sort of ended up being a model of sorts, didn't she? So it doesn't matter how much you spend on the education, it's about what the child wants to do in the end. But apparently, according to the source, Meghan Markle is determined to bring him up as a proper English gentleman. So anybody budding out there who was a teacher with those impeccable connections, maybe get your CV over to Montecito. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.